Hey guys, welcome to Weeb101. I am Brew, and we are here with Sid and Audi. Audi is the one who's being converted into a Weeb right
Hello.
now. And we are going to talk about our first topic, which is Haikyuu. This is
Yep. Hi.
surprisingly one of the things that Audi has seen, so we decided to start off with that. So to give you a little bit of an introduction, a little bit of context, Sid and I have been reading manga and watching anime for the last 10 years,
That's
while
right.
Audi
Yeah.
has only watched One Piece and Death Note. So he recently completed Full Metal Alchemist and Haikyuu, and that is why
Haikyuu.
we are in the process of turning him around into a complete weeb.
Exactly.
So
So like the haters, like people who are like, oh, why is Haikyuu the first episode of? I know there are lots of things that are like greater that we can talk about, and Haikyuu is a very good show, but because Audi has seen it, we're starting with Haikyuu, and we'll be covering new and old things, as we proceed and progress. Yeah.
yeah, so the point of Weeb 101 is to have, well, it's technically a 201 on Audi, but it's to have a conversation with Audi, make him watch new things, and make him give us his opinion. So you have the opinion of people who have read a lot of manga and have read all these things before, and we're going for a second or third rewatch, and Audi is going through his first. So we hope it will give some fresh perspective and maybe make you want to try out something new as well. So, guys,
Yep.
we start with
Yes.
Haikyuu.
Let's start.
What do you like about Haikyuu?
Dude, this what do I not like? IQ. I think the first time, I don't remember when. I think I saw it in 2017 or 18 when I introduced it to you, Brew.
Uh,
Do you remember?
I think when did I started?
It was
I had
ages
started it
ago.
after
2017.
two seasons had already come out.
See, the show released on 2016, but I think we saw it on 17 or 18.
Yeah, I think.
And I was like, dude, check out this cool show. Like, first, I used to see like screenshots of the show. People used to talk about it. Like, it's volleyball. Not really interested. I don't care. I'm not gonna watch.
Yeah,
And then I saw it. I'm like, damn, this is getting interesting. And I like binge watched it. I think over 2 nights.
yeah,
And
the
then I
same
kept telling
story.
Bro about it. He's like, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. And then he became such a big fan. Literally introduced it to everyone in your life. Too.
Not everyone, but most of them. Most of them.
Yeah.
Haikyuu is a very good anime to get people into
Hmm.
anime, I think. But let's hear it from
Yeah.
our main boy himself, Adi. What do you say?
Buddy.
Why do you like Haikyuu?
Well, it has a very unique animation style. There are a lot of parts where it seems very energetic, and overall, I've seen One Piece quite a bit, and I've seen One Piece way too much, so much so that I've seen YouTube videos where they've pointed out how the animation is very poorly done. And then when I went
Yeah.
on to go see Haikyuu, it was just a fresh. I don't know how to put it in words exactly, but it was very fresh to say the least.
It was your first sports anime, right? You've never seen
Yeah,
anime
I
related to
have not
sports before, right? So what do you think about that? About showing sports like in an anime form?
something very unique in its own. Uh,
Why no? Why do you like it? What about Haikyuu
Yeah.
made you fall in love with it? Why do you like Haikyuu?
the same reason why I fell in love with One Piece. There was this protagonist that really knew how to just break the boundaries that break the this thing barrier that was put against them. And if they really wanted to do something, they didn't really care about what was in front of them,
Yeah.
and they just went on ahead with it. They just barreled right through it, and that foolhardy spirit that kind of got me hooked onto One Piece, and similarly got me hooked onto Haikyuu as well. That's kind of why I also really like the character of Hinata, as I did with Luffy.
Yeah. He's a pretty shonen protagonist. Yeah.
I'm still very much new to the
Yeah.
whole anime formula, if you will. So yeah, like
Hmm.
from what I gather, this is as basic as it gets for most anime protagonists, where they are very flashy and they like to do these foolhardy acts where it's just extremely flashy for a character, and that kind of what got me gripped onto the anime in the first place. So I don't know. As I progress on towards more animes and more mangas, I'll kind of get a better understanding of what every other protagonist from every
Mm.
other story can do. But right now, this is kind of what got me hooked onto it in the first place.
Um, yeah. I wouldn't. I don't. It makes sense what you say, but I wouldn't call it like flashy. I don't know what you mean by flashy, but like most like shonen programs like Hinata, they're like they want to they want to improve themselves, and improve their skill, and that's why they like try as hard as they can and never give up, and that's what makes them that. It's I wouldn't call that
I
flashy,
say
right? So
flashy because again, I'm trying to take what I know from One Piece, and Luffy has a very flashy way of doing things. Rather than going about in a more structured manner,
mm,
he just take the most easiest way out. Like
uh,
uh, I think
mm,
in the Fishman arc, there was a point where they could try negotiating with Hachin was his name, and okay,
yeah,
my memory is a bit low, but point
that's
point being, he would rather punch his way out of the problem rather than try to talk his way through it. And
mm,
every single time it has grabbed my attention on, and it just made me wonder what is going to happen next. And similarly, the this thing in Haikyuu, Hinata wants to do the same thing. He isn't scared of going neck deep into the problem, and I just keep wondering what is going to happen now that he's this deep into the issue.
Well, Audi, since you are referencing another manga, I would like to say clearly Audi has never seen Naruto's Talk no Jutsu, which has
yeah.
100% success rates in their own universe. But I'm very curious because you guys seem to be talking about Hinata as the protagonist, while I think looking at the story, which is what we should be talking about next,
Mhm.
I think the whole of Karasuno is our protagonist. I would even say that some people from other teams are protagonists because of the way they are, the way they drive the story, the way they are given so much focus and attention. But what do you think of Karasuno themselves
Mm.
being the protagonists together?
So I kind of don't think like Karasuno is a protagonist. Like, see, during the show, Hinata is still the protagonist, and I think Kageyama, I would call him a supporting character. That's what I think, because during the show, like, of course, all the characters develop and change and get better, right? But if you see how much character development each of them are having, like Hinata, right? He's the one who's having the most development. His moments are like shown. When he's shining, he's like emotionally, skill wise, he's developing so much. Like someone like Kageyama, his skill is already there. His developments throughout the series, like you see, is basically his emotions, how he learns to deal with
Mm.
people.
Okay, that's not
And if
exactly
you
true.
see,
You do see Kageyama learn a lot from
he's
Oikawa,
already a
from
prodigy, right? So
he's a
he's like
No,
he's just practicing. He's learning
he
how to
still
deal with
needs
people.
guidance and fine tuning to
Yeah,
get to what he has to do. Which is the
yeah.
same for Hinata because Hinata is also technically a prodigy because the way he can jump, the way he can
mm.
run around the
Actually, yeah.
whole
Up
field. So
until
I
the
think,
third season, it was
but
just
but
kind of showing Hinata's progress as a player and Kageyama's progress as a person and a teammate overall. But
No, but if you see the others, dude, like Asahi and Sawamura and
mm,
the three seniors, right? Tanaka, like they don't progress much, like this Asai throughout the seasons, like the only thing he starts practicing is like his serves. He's like, oh, I'm gonna practice serves. That's the only new thing he does, right? And even Sugawara is like, yo, I'ma just try spiking, and that's it. They don't progress as much as these characters do. Even though what Haikyuu does, it does an amazing thing, which is one of the reasons I actually like Haikyuu a lot, which is they put importance on every character and show like their own stories. So like even like characters from the other teams, they show their story like a little. Each character has its own like episode. If it's even the Yui, the girl of the Karasuno volleyball team,
mm,
right?
yeah,
When Karasuno is having the competition, they show like her loss and what she's going through, and
mm,
they concentrate on her too. So I love that they don't treat like other characters just like crowd, like just there in the background, not giving much importance, or just like an opponent, just to highlight the protagonist. But they use everything, so I think that's why it may look like they are all protagonists, which I understand. But I still think like the show is about Hinata's development personally. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you take a look at what they are showing, they show Hinata's progression, sure, but they also show Kageyama and his training camp. They also they show everybody doing they're having their own character arcs and having their own moments. And it doesn't, as you said, it doesn't seem like the importance has been
Mm.
divided in any way, which technically means they're all protagonists, because a protagonist is someone who the story focuses on a lot. And it's not necessarily the good guy or the bad guy, but main characters, important characters. And I think everyone on the volleyball team, they're given similar importance to each other. Yeah, Hinata and Kageyama do have more importance because they are like the main protagonists, maybe.
Yeah.
But I still feel like the entire Karasuno team is a protagonist. They are all
Mm.
protagonists in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
What is the
Yep.
resident noob of
Yeah, I
anime?
also don't think
Yeah.
Karasuno is the protagonist as a whole. I think it's more so Hinata and Kageyama. Not just Hinata, but like they show, like Bruce said, it is Hinata's development as a player and Kageyama's development as a person, as a teammate, trying to coordinate with other players and trying to, for lack of better words, get off his high horse and kind of come down to their level and coordinate properly. And that seemed to be the case up until season 3. But then, as we entered season 4, we started to see how Kageyama was developing as a player as well, and we noticed that he started to learn the jump technique from uh, who was the player with the white hair. I don't remember his name in season 4.
Or
The,
the
the
little
little
giant,
giant.
that guy, right? Not
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Karasuno
You know
little
what I'm
giant,
talking
but
about.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So
I
yeah,
forgot his name.
basically
Yeah,
Kageyama
yeah.
started observing his movements and started trying to play around those movements, and he wanted to utilize those and that knowledge and kind of put it into Hinata and try to develop himself as a setter and this thing. Korai.
Korai. Yeah, yeah.
Simultaneously develop Hinata as a player as well. So yeah, like up until season 3, it was just that so far. Like it was development of Hinata as a player, Kageyama as a this thing teammate, and Karasuno as a team. Like
Yeah.
in season 3, it kind of got highlighted that the whole team came together and all of their efforts up until then kind of gave them the reward they deserved, the win against Shiratorizawa.
Mhm.
And season 4 was like a kick to all the viewers, going, yeah, they are still a pretty bad team in comparison to all the other teams coming all the way from all corners of Japan, and now they're going to show
Yeah.
the true test that they have to really overcome and all the hurdles that will be thrown against them.
I I don't think we're a very good anime podcast if we throw out those many spoilers right at the start.
ah
So,
ah
Audi,
Yeah.
okay.
maybe
Shit.
we should take care to not
Yeah.
Yeah.
alienate
I'll,
all the viewers. But
maybe
Sorry,
showing
focus
sorry.
on that.
speaking of showing spoilers, have you noticed that this is a thing in all anime, but I don't know if Audi's noticed it in the opening scenes, opening animation, and the ending animation with the songs, there's so many
Mm.
spoilers being shown either way. So
What do?
sometimes you wonder, but I think Haikyuu has done a good job in minimizing those spoilers because they don't
Yeah.
show what exactly happens because you
Yeah.
can't show a match in an opening sequence. But what do you guys think of the opening sequences in general? Like,
Oh,
I think
dude.
I think Burnout Syndrome has like the best songs, and
Yeah.
Burnout
they have
Syndrome does have
multiple.
the best songs, but the first song, Imagination, the one by Spy Air,
Oh yeah, yeah. Spy
that one
had
is
made
pretty good.
they
I
made two
like that.
songs.
Yeah.
Imagination and Believer, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
also, I don't know if you all know this, but like the ending of the second season, it's like
yeah.
this. So this is by this artist called Galileo Galilei. Okay, I think Audi has seen this. There's an anime called Ano
Ah.
Hana, which is
Mm.
cool. I introduced Audi to it. So he sings the opening of that. And I started listening to Galileo Galilei on like Spotify, and he had this song called Climber that I really like. And that's the ending for Haikyuu, dude, season 2. It's
Oh,
Climber by Galileo. It's a pretty nice song. Yeah,
okay. I have to admit, I do not really care for the Haikyuu endings.
of
I
course, dude.
love the openings. I
Openings
don't love
are
the endings.
amazing. And the thing is, the openings, dude, they always have this scene where like it's all the members of Karasuno like just playing, the camera zooms into each one of them doing
Yeah.
something. That looks amazing. That's like Sakuga in itself, that sequence. And the one for season 4 also
I'd
looks
say
pretty
that
good.
from all the
Yeah,
things I have watched, I have only religiously watched the intro for every season of Haikyuu every single time I watched an episode. Like otherwise, I'd normally skip it out because I really just want to get to the content and not the intro. But Haikyuu, the intro does a very good job of preparing you for what's to come, and it kind of builds up that hype, and you
Yeah.
kind of go in thinking, "Ha, yeah, it's a damn good show," and you're going to be really surprised throughout the entire episode. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
the main,
you don't
yeah,
skip Haikyuu openings. That's true. That's
it's
true.
a lot
yeah,
like
yeah,
Full
yeah.
Metal
Mm,
Alchemist actually, because
Mm.
again, another song which I just don't
mm,
skip. I can't skip that song. I When I
Oh,
watched Full Metal Alchemist, I just didn't skip it even once. I was just like, I'm going to listen to the song the entire
yeah.
time, and it's the same with
And
Haikyuu. I listen to the songs even outside of
and the
Haikyuu, and it's
thing
just
is,
beautiful.
yeah,
they even use really good visuals, both FMA and Haikyuu. So you even can watch it. You don't have to keep it like running and do something, fiddle around while the intro is going on and listen to it. You can actually watch the entire intro and feel something out of it. It's really good visuals from uh, Haikyuu in this case.
Yeah, but I would to say that Full Metal Alchemist does have a
Yeah,
lot of spoilers in the intro because
oh, of
they
course.
show
You can
a lot of
you can
things. They
see
show a
yeah,
the
lot of things.
final battles, like who's gonna fight who and how
Which
it's gonna end. Dude. It's classic anime, spoiling everything in the opening.
Yeah, but that's why I feel like Haikyuu really shines because they can show so much but still not show anything at all. Because
Yeah.
even in the season 3 opening where they're fighting Shiratorizawa, there's so
Hmm.
much that they show, but none of it actually comes out in the anime. It's all just
Yeah.
about what they can show without having. But it's also like an element of the supernatural because they
Mhm.
show them turning into crows and show Shiratorizawa being a giant eagle and all that. So I think that adds a lot of hype,
Yeah.
Mm.
as you guys said, and it really makes up for
Hmm.
I would say that since it's not a very shonen anime, but they have very shonen
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
So I think the openings really show what they can do with if reality was not a restriction over here.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like about Haikyuu, one of the things that hooked me onto it, another thing is like, so the last, I think, sports like that we watched before this was like Kuroko,
Yeah,
which was still
Kuroko.
like basketball, but based on like supernatural stuff, and it was kind of predictable to some extent.
Are
But
you
they
telling
still had
me that
these,
someone can't throw 3 pointers
yeah.
consistently every
And
single
it
time?
was still like they still tried to create those clutch moments like they do, like, oh, this either team's
Yeah,
game and all, but it was still pretty obvious. But what Haikyuu did was they showed like real human skill. And also what I loved was like season one, spoilers. At the end of season one, Awa Josai beat them. And we didn't
yeah,
expect that. We were like, oh,
yeah.
of course, Carson was going to win. And they were like, oh, it's like almost the ball is almost falling. They're almost scoring. And like, holy, that was tense. I like that a lot when we lost.
In fact, I even remember when we had this
Mhm.
conversation. Said we were walking towards some mall, and I was talking about Haikyuu, and I hadn't seen the ending of the match,
Yeah.
and I was just talking to you, and I was like, yeah, so Karasuno wins against Awa Josa, and you were like, they do, huh? Do they? Interesting. And I was like, shit, I didn't watch the ending of the match. My God, they lose, don't they? And I went back, went home, I watched that episode, and I was like, yes, I definitely messed up over there.
Yep.
But anyway, so I think that's another thing that
Mm.
points back to the character development and the way that a plot goes. It's not
Mm.
unrealistic in many ways. It's very truthful. It's what could happen to any team actually, irrespective of how good or
Mm.
bad they are.
Yeah. They,
Awa
they,
Josai beating Karasuno was a very I mean, it was a terrible thing to watch because you're rooting for Karasuno and you're not rooting
Mhm.
against Awa Josai, but they do show that it's not always the good guys, the protagonists who win. It can
Yeah.
be one.
They like Karasuno loses a lot, dude. Like Fukuradani and Nekoma, they lose a lot of
Mm.
matches. They show that, but they show growth. They just don't show like, oh, we lost and now we train and now we
Yeah,
we
they show
win.
actual progress through
Yeah,
and
I
through,
mean,
and they analyze their mistakes, and they
Yeah.
just try to improve
yeah,
upon certain issues every single time.
Mhm.
most spoilers, but even in the training camp, they basically lose and they have to keep doing laps by jumping across the floor of
Mm.
the gym, and yeah, they keep losing a lot.
Exactly.
And rather
Yeah.
than
It's
Yeah.
Like I think it's very
Hmm.
refreshing.
Rather than feeling dejected and just giving up on the whole training session, they choose to carry on with it and just eat their L's constantly and just keep doing their practice,
Yeah,
and it just kind of shows the determination of the team as a whole.
dude, I like even like things they do, like what they did with Tsuki.
Hmm.
How they're
Yeah,
like in the beginning, you're like, damn, he's such an asshole. Get out of the team. I hate this guy. At the end, and in the end, with the final fight against Shira Torizawa,
spoilers.
spoilers, you're like, fuck Tsuki, go fucking win them the game, block all his shots.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something they do really well. Like I would say the plot itself of Haikyuu is similar to something like Kuroko no Basuke, where you
Mhm.
expect them to win, and I mean, at some point it is going to be true, right? You are going
Yeah,
to
of
expect them to win.
course.
We
Hmm.
aren't expecting them to lose in the finals or the
Yeah,
semi-finals or the grand finals, whatever. But I think the plot itself is well developed, but it's a little predictable. But the character development, I think, really drives the plot,
yeah.
which is not something you see too often in anime and manga. There is a lot of character development in different places, but none as genuine as Haikyuu, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I think since we're talking about the plot, we should make it clear that we're only talking about the anime because we have watched the anime. We
Yeah,
haven't.
we haven't read the manga.
Yeah, so we should talk about how we have only seen the anime and we haven't read the manga because because usually me and Brew we always read the manga before watching anime, but for Haikyuu we couldn't do that. And even though the manga is amazing,
Manga purist, right?
yeah, like I think the mangaka is Furudate Haruichi. And one thing I'll tell you all, which is very interesting, I found out a few days ago. People don't know Furudate's gender.
Oh
Ah.
wow, really?
Yeah, Furudate hasn't revealed his or her gender. Sorry. Basically, if you Google it, it shows a woman's image and wiki, and the description says he. Okay, and even if you go on Reddit, they don't reveal Furudate's gender. You must have seen the penguin. The penguin is what
Oh
Furudate
yeah,
usually uses
Oh.
as a signature. But
oh
most
yeah,
people say it's a woman because there's a video of like Furudate drawing and it looks like a woman's hands, and they say Haikyuu is not like very etchy, so it may be a woman, but I'm not sure because like even mangas like Ichigo 100% are
Ah.
written by women. Is written by a
yeah.
woman, which is Kawashita Mizuki.
Also, another thing is,
Mm.
Haikyuu might not be ecchi in terms of what ecchi anime and manga usually are, but Haikyuu does
Yeah.
have a huge yaoi fan base where they pair
Mhm.
Hinata and Kageyama mainly together, which I mean, it's not even about the ecchi part. I think Haikyuu is just too pure to
Yeah.
be considered
Yeah, it's too pure.
for
Yeah, exactly.
yaoi or any type
They
of
show
hentai.
even the relationships are innocent, like the one between Daichi and like Yui.
Hmm.
Even that's so
Yeah,
innocent.
yeah.
And
There is
even
no
yeah,
there's no space for something perverted in that. That's what I feel.
yeah, they
Maybe
try
you
to
guys
show
like
like
what you
perversions in a cute way, like Tanaka
yeah
and like Nishinoya with the manager. What's her name? Like
yeah. But
it's like a
I mean that
cute kind of perversion.
yeah. I mean it's probably a little creepy because they want to get slapped by her
Yeah.
and want to hear her say weird
I know
words.
it's
But
funny. Well, they are the comic relief of the show. Yeah. Hmm.
it's not particularly etchy or doesn't lean towards hentai in any way, which is I think is very important because
It's very
I
important.
mean so many anime and manga just try to sell the attractiveness of its any women or attractiveness of anyone just to try to sell more manga. I mean, even One Piece falls for that, where they have like most of the women are
Oh,
like ridiculously attractive. So,
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Come
very
on.
interesting that I can.
Look at what
But
they wear.
I mean, that does lead us to a very important topic, doesn't like? I think the character styles for Haikyuu are like really good. Like
Dude,
the way it's been drawn, the way the characters have been designed, it's just I think it's overall really good.
so the manga, like if you see, it has more rounded faces, for the characters, and for the anime,
Yeah,
they like sharpened it. And I
yeah,
think the character designer is like Kishida Takahiro, that's his name, I think he's the one who made this decision to have more curve this
Mm.
so that he could show more dynamics. When they're playing volleyball and all this through the scenes, it was actually pretty nice. Like the what the anime did was it didn't like imitate the manga or take the manga and turn it into a story. It improved upon it, which is what I like about Haikyuu.
I mean, I
Like it
think a
took,
lot of people would that would be subjective for a lot of people because I'm sure there are people who like the manga way more than the
of
anime.
course, dude. But like
Yeah. But
like the
Haikyuu anime
manga
is
shows,
like, popular. Yeah.
yeah, the manga shows like if you've read, I've read some of the manga. I mean, you must have read, some matches. It
Yeah.
shows like manga shows panels, right? Usually actions happening in panels,
Yeah.
and usually the readers fill the
Hmm.
space in between. But these guys, like in the anime, they add like lots of interesting things. I was looking it up. There's this scene, where like Oikawa, there's this thing where Oikawa is like pissed and he like defends the ball and goes to run to like smash it, which in the
Yeah.
manga is just shown that he's like he looks pissed and then he runs and
Oh.
he's smashing. But in the anime they show him like slipping on like a cloth and like trying to get up in frustration. They add those extra things which are
Ah.
not shown in the manga,
Mm-hmm.
which I think make it better.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I.
I agree that I think the anime is much better than the manga, which is weird because I almost never have that opinion.
I-
I, I
Yeah.
can't think of a single anime that I
yeah,
would rather
isn't
watch
it
than
normally
read
the
the
case that
manga.
anime kind of skimp out on the little details like that and just keep the meat of
It
it all?
is, dude, but it's
Uh,
hmm but it's production IG, dude. Like,
Huh?
yeah, it's production IG. No, there are lots of, and it's this may or may not be the case. The anime can be better, it can be worse. Depends on like the studio that's doing it, how much budget they have, how much effort they're putting in, all that stuff. But for Haikyuu, if you see, it has improved. Even though like even the Furudate's story and characters and expressions have been translated amazingly. Like all credit goes to Furudate for that. Without that, the anime wouldn't like. Of course, her work is like amazing, but I think the anime did improve upon it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and one of the main things is about creating that distinct style for each character, and
Hmm.
I mean not only the animation style, even the okay. So we all know that anime has like these main characters who have different colored hair or have some
Of course.
specific feature, too short, too tall, all that stuff. But I think Haikyuu has done a very good job where you it has a lot of variety in character design, and it there is no person you can look at and be like that looks like the main guy. Like Nishinoya might just look like a the main guy in the anime, but I would say he's not necessarily given that much as much space as I wish he would have gotten. So I really like the way Haikyuu takes the characters and the way the whole style developed around the animation.
Hmm.
Resident New Weeb, what do you think?
Character styles seem very, as Sid said, very dynamic, active, and uh, I don't know. It's not very. How do I put it? It's not very cartoony in the sense that it looks like it's meant for kids. It
He said the C word.
it's not like it looks like it's a cartoon made for kids.
He said
Do not use the
Oh my
cartoon
god.
words here.
the C word. But yeah, I mean, both of you do think it's dynamic, which is a very important point. I feel also for those who are, I mean, if any of you are listening, we don't know how many people are even going to hear this. But if you don't know, Sid is an animator, and even though he recently started on his path of manga brilliance. No, I'm kidding. But he's an animator and he's tried his hand at different types of animation. And I think he should go on a monologue talking about how good Haikyuu's animation is. If he says it's bad, I will interrupt him. Do not worry. Anything to protect the image of Haikyuu in my head. But Sid, what do
Yeah.
you think of the animation? Give people a breakdown.
Yeah. So animation for Haikyuu. So I would say they've done a pretty good job compared to like the mass-produced animation that usually comes out from the Japanese industry. The thing I would say, so usually I also love the normal animation and the Sakuga moments. Like, so as far as I think the stadiums are like made in 3D and the characters are in 2D, and they somehow like composite it in a certain way. But I'm still not sure about that. One mystery I have is how do they use the net? Is the net 2D? How do they have the characters through it? That looks like a lot of work. Because in anime you can always like see the characters through the net, and the net is also like a factor in the Sakuga scenes and the jumps and all.
Mm.
Yeah,
So I'm still
that's
not sure how they do that. That looks like a lot of work, but that's a mystery for another day. I shall figure that out. But usually, if you see like like if you see most anime, like backgrounds are shot in like 6 to 8 FPS, like frames per second, and characters are shot in like 8 to 12 frames per second. Even within those like restrictions, like Haikyuu has done a pretty good job. And even if you see like for the first 3 seasons before the change, like I think the series director is like Suzumu Mitsunaka, who was a key animator for like Weathering with You and Letter to Momo, like some pretty good like films.
more topics that we shall cover on Weeb 101.
Yes, we shall. And even like the chief animation director Chiba Takahiro, he was the key animator for like Your Name and Girl Who Leapt Through Time. So these are like really good animators who are working on Haikyuu, and that too for production IG with their staff. So you can expect amazing animation. Like I said, they show like Hinata slipping and jumping on the wall and hitting, and if there's a Sakuga shot, of like for those who don't know what Sakuga is, it's basically this certain moment where like animators shine. The quality of animation suddenly increases in the episode, and there are lots of Sakuga moments in each episode. Like the ones with usually Hinata and Kageyama pulling off, like one of their spike shots or like one of their first tempo, second tempo, or any block or spike or serve in a game that's done by like an important character, like Oikawa serves or something. That if you notice the quality and animation like drastically improves,
Mm.
that's called Sakuga. So even if you see the Sakuga, there's like a Sakuga where like Kageyama is, when he's apologizing and yelling to his team, that scene. You see his change
Yeah,
of expressions. That's a Sakuga
Yeah.
shot, and it looks amazing. How his expression changes and evolves, and how they do it, like the lines and everything. It looks beautiful. It's very smooth, and they add these like small inconsistencies and like mistakes that the character makes in subtle animation, which is like really nice. Because usually like if you see animation animators ignore background characters, put them on a loop, like just blur them, make them do like random shit. IQ does have that, but most of it, i guess it I guess they add quality to it. They don't like just go with like mass producing stuff. They try to add because it has good animators, I think. Even like like if we talk about season
Mm.
4, the new series director and
five.
chief director, they changed both. That's why the styles changed. The new series director was Sato Masako, who's worked on Spirited Away and Howl's Moving
Oh.
Castle and Kaguya, like Ghibli films, key animator, and Yu Kobayashi. Like these are good animators. So and many people like don't like season 4. Many people hated the character style, and I think I really liked it. They improved. What do you guys think about the character styles of season, like the character change? Before I go on.
It's Haikyuu. I have no complaints. I love every part of it. But we should ask Audi his
Uh,
opinion.
Audi.
Audi, what do you think?
I actually like the. It seemed a lot more sleeker than the past seasons, but I had
Hmm.
more concerns with Daichi's drawing drawing style. He looked a lot more sleepy for some reason throughout the entire season. It like okay throughout season 1, 2, and 3, he seemed like this very active personality, right? He had a calm air about him, but he looked determined through and through. Whereas I don't know if it was Daichi or if it was Asahi, but one or the two, or I think both of them, seemed looked very sleepy in season 4. They looked very drowsy, if you will. Their eyes sort of seemed like they had a droop throughout the season, whereas throughout especially in season 3 they seemed very determined, ready to this thing perform their best throughout the entire match. But in season 4 it just seemed like they lacked that same luster that they had throughout season 3, and I felt like that was a bit of a disappointment. But overall I like the improvement in drawing style, like especially after you had pointed it out in one of our previous conversations, and and I really like the change in drawing styles. But yeah, like Bruce said, it's Haikyuu. I also have no complaints. But aside from that Daichi and Asai thing, yeah, there are no issues whatsoever.
Audi tried saving himself at the end over there. That was blasphemy. Sid, explain to him why it was blasphemy.
But
What? It was blasphemy, dude. Daichi is. I don't think Daichi was like sleepy or anything. Like Daichi is an amazing character. He's always like this confident
huh.
captain, and I think even with the character change, you see him as the same character. He's always a guy like he doesn't stand out, but behind the scenes, he's like the foundation of Karasuno. And I don't know what you're talking about features wise and voice wise. He didn't. I don't think he looked sleepy. I think after the break that the season 4 came, all of them got more muscular and more refined. The style changed, but all of them still got like they all grew up. They got older. I don't know if you're relating like old age with looking sleepy. I don't know
See,
where you're finding
that
that,
was the first
but
thing
yeah,
that came to mind when I saw the new character. See, I knew right away that there was a change in drawing style when I saw Asahi and Daichi, and I was like, there was something that looked different about them, and I don't know, there was like that certain glint in their eyes throughout season 3, but then that was kind of missing in season 4. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. Like, the first thing that came to mind was they look sleepy. They look like they are tired in some manner.
I don't,
Wait,
maybe
That
it's
is
just
why
the
Audi is the new Weeb and doesn't know shit. So never mind his opinion,
isn't that
guys.
isn't that what
We
this
move
podcast
on.
is all about?
point of this.
Uh, it is. But when you start insulting Haikyuu characters, that's over the line.
Yeah, you got. No, it's okay, bro. I have a question for you. Since we're talking about this, what do you not like about Haikyuu? And you have to have something.
Hey, I like everything about Haikyuu. The only
No,
thing I don't like is how long they're taking to release the goddamn
my
second part of
God,
season 4. I can't wait for that long, okay?
you
I
have to.
literally I literally have all seasons of the show kept up in a home media server which I watch every few months and I finish it within a couple of days each time. You really think I'm going to have something I
You
don't like
have
about the
to.
show?
You have to. You watch anime. You overanalyze. You're like, yes, I predicted that. Oh, I didn't like that. This that much. Haikyuu, you need to have. There has to be something you don't
I
like.
did say that Haikyuu is a little predictable, but I
Hmm.
mean, it makes sense. The first season still threw me off. The second season still threw me off. It was only the
Yeah.
third and fourth season that I was like, okay, I have a
Hmm.
slight idea of what's going to happen, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. But
Okay.
it made up for it in characters and the storyline, everything. Just the way they
Hmm.
showed everything, it just made up for it. I don't think there's anything. I mean, it's not a
Anything.
shonen anime, I would say. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. If you're not a fan of sports, or not a
Hmm.
fan of good animation, or not a fan, actually, if you don't have a brain, then you won't
Oh,
like Haikyuu.
Wow.
But
bold words.
but otherwise, I have not. Okay, okay. This might seem just anecdotal, but I have not met a single person who has watched a little bit of IQ and then said, I'll pass. No, everyone wants to watch more.
That's true.
So,
It pulls you
Yeah.
and it reels you in. That's true. The characters are addictive. You want to know what happens to them and what happens, like how they. You want to follow their stories, basically.
exactly. And see, that's what I really like about Haikyuu. And
Mm.
I have a lot of things that I expect for the future of Haikyuu. Like, I do want to see, I don't know if they lose again. Maybe they are going to, maybe they're not. Maybe there's never going to be another trash can match, or maybe there will be, and we love it.
Yep. Yep.
But I do not like the uncertainty. But I do think that it's only going to get better because there's already so
Hmm.
much demand for it.
Yeah.
We're only going to be seeing more cool volleyball plays because
Mm-hmm.
most of these plays are actually rooted in reality. There's a video on YouTube which shows Haikyuu volleyball shots
Oh yeah.
versus real life
Of
volleyball
course.
shots, and
We've all seen those.
it is crazy. Like it's really good the way they do it. So
Amazing, dude.
as for the future, I don't know. Maybe they will
Yeah.
come. Maybe there will come a time where I watch one episode. I'm like, nah, I
Yeah.
don't like that. But so far, I haven't seen anything. So in the future, I'm only hoping for great things. But
Mm.
maybe there will be something. What do you guys
Ho-
think about the
Hold
future of
on the
Haikyuu?
future. I'll come back to that. But talking about the characters, okay. I love like if you were talking about the comparison between real life and Haikyuu, right? Another thing that's amazing is how the animators observed how the animators
Hmm.
observe the actual volleyball players and professionals, like how spikers like put their hands behind to like get like a higher jump, and how the hand bends, and like they analyzed everything, how liberos fall and roll and everything, even how they like fall on like the net and the wall behind, you can like literally see it's very well translated. They've done their research and they've enhanced it in the animation. You see a lot of like breaking of joints and like bendy rubber hose arms, doing some sakuga moments and hits, like if you see
Yeah.
even blocks, you see the fingers like bending and like
Hmm.
overpowering over the net, so they exaggerate it in a way where it like enhances the experience of you watching it. Like the spikers like going to spike and there's this wall of like huge hands in the way. Or there's this hand that bends like a whip and like smashes the ball. So like these, even though they like imitate the poses and they've translated real life pretty well, they also exaggerate it in like a really good way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think one great moment this reminds me of is Hinata's jumping on the wall, and
Hmm.
everyone jokingly says he's Spider-Man. The real life version of it is surprisingly similar. I mean, obviously, he's not on the wall for like 5 minutes straight,
Yeah.
but it's actually surprisingly similar the way they've done it. I don't know if Audi has noticed any
Hmm.
similarities like this. Audi, what do you
Wait,
think?
remind me what the wall thing was again.
No, I'm just asking your opinion in general. Doesn't matter about the wall
Uh,
thing. Not a true fan. He doesn't remember the wall. Anyway, go
at
on.
the beginning, when we were speaking about how we were just hooked on to watching videos of volleyball players and their very explosive actions throughout matches, like especially Nishinoya. I was very curious to see how, after watching Nishinoya's moments where he just keeps rolling around the whole rolling thunder and just trying to defend with every single uh, bit of energy that he had. I watched those videos of real life liberos, and it's just like the real thing. They just go out of their way. They try to jump across fences. They just try to manage to get that one touch on the ball, and they've really translated that well onto the anime as well.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one libero jumping past the what's
The
it called,
There
boundary.
was one guy
the
Yeah.
who
boundary,
jumped.
and he actually
Yeah,
jumped into the chairs and it
he
hurt his
jumped
leg,
past the
which
fence.
is
He
common in
jumped past
Haikyuu
the
as well.
photographers, and he jumped into the chairs. That's how determined he was to get the ball back. And similarly, they did a really good job of putting that into the into the anime as well.
Yeah, the tech, like even the fiends and everything they showed, you could relate. You're like, oh damn it, like
Hmm.
you're randomly interested in volleyball now. Like me and Drew were looking at volleyball grounds. We're
Yeah,
like, yo, let's play volleyball before COVID hit us. We're like, oh, let's find a place to play
I must I
volleyball.
must say I'm pretty sure Sid and I and Audi
yeah.
would have sucked at volleyball. We are
Of
not the other
course.
kind. You should know because we're weebs, but we
I
still
will
wanted
admit
to
that
do
in
it.
the time I
Yeah.
rewatched Haikyuu, I really felt like going out to a sports store, getting a volleyball, and just practicing it against a wall or something, because it really it makes you
Makes
simply
you
want to
wanna
play.
play.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's just a really influential anime that way.
When we watched Kuroko, and then me and Drew we read Slam Dunk, and we were like, let's play basketball. We used to go downstairs and play
Yeah,
basketball. Remember, for a month or so.
Yeah, yeah, but our basketball court was for like kids, so
Yeah,
I mean,
and we got
yeah,
tired
we
pretty
didn't suck
fast.
over there, but it's kids, so we weren't really okay. But yeah, what do you guys think is going to happen in the future of IQ?
Okay, before you all say this, I read it today on Reddit. Furudate has announced that the Haikyuu manga is ending on 20th
what?
July.
What?
Yes, I just read it on Reddit a few hours ago. I
I'm
didn't
sorry,
want to
what?
tell you all until
Huh?
now.
IQ.
So
Okay, I am googling this right now.
I don't know how far the anime has caught up to the manga, but it's sad to know that it's gonna
Yeah,
end.
it is sad. Well, hopefully how hopefully the anime has only just started, like with the 4 seasons.
Yeah, and exactly. One thing I love about the anime is
Yeah.
there are no fillers. They follow it properly. Like the script writers and have translated it very well, so that there are no spoilers, there are no fillers. Sorry. And I hope, and I don't think they're going to get fillers now because of the reputation of the show, and that means there's going to be long breaks and it's going to end. But I don't know how far it's caught up.
Oh my God, it's true. It's going to end.
Haven't you guys read the
Yes, it
manga,
is.
or haven't you said?
No, we
No.
read the beginnings. We didn't follow it
Ah,
because we wanted to watch, like, we wanted the anime
mhm.
experience, basically.
Sid, you have
You can
Prue is
hear the
sad.
despair in Bruce's sigh right now.
Yes, I was saving it.
no. This is this is terrible.
What is
Uh,
life? A
Yes.
moment of silence.
a moment of silence is not enough. Oh my God. Okay. So basically,
Hmm.
apparently, when issue 32 came out and was scanned and released online, eh, a leaker said that it'll be ending in the next issue. So it's going to be chapter 402 is going to be the last chapter for Haikyuu.
Hmm.
And if we go to a totally legitimate manga site, which does not involve piracy at all,
Of course not.
and search for Haikyuu, I get
No.
nothing. Okay. I don't know which chapter we're on right now because I watched the
Yeah,
anime for
it's
this.
okay. But still, season 4, okay, on the brighter side, season 4 part 2 is coming someday. I don't know when, but it's coming. And I've been hearing that for a month, but it's still coming.
It's never going to come. It's terrible news, is all I can say.
We don't know when is the next release date.
See, so by
Every,
talking about the future of Haikyuu, we learned that the future of Haikyuu is
Yes.
ending Haikyuu.
It's only disappointment.
well, everything good comes to an end, bro.
My God, is that
And
why Bleach went on for so long? Hmm.
you are someone who is notoriously known for hating endings and dismissing that shows exist because of bad endings. So what do you expect out of the ending? Are you gonna dismiss Haikyuu as a good show if it has a bad ending?
See, I will think of Haikyuu's ending like I thought of Game of Thrones' ending before it came out.
Hmm.
I think it's going to be sad, but I will still be satisfied with it.
You were satisfied with.
But
Uh,
if it's like Game of Thrones, I'm not going to be satisfied with it. And in that case, the last season simply
yes.
does not exist.
Yeah, the same way
Okay.
Naruto ends at the pain arc for you, doesn't
Yes,
it? Yes.
exactly, exactly. And the same way Bleach ended 55 chapters. Sorry if I'm missing 55, like 200
Yep.
chapters before
Yeah.
it actually ended.
Aizen. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean,
It's not.
this is, this is terrible news to give me when we're recording a podcast.
I know,
I
right?
can't
It was
even
the
show
perfect
my
moment.
entire depression out to everybody. For those of you who don't know, when I finish something or something reaches an end, I get sad.
I think that would be the case for
Oh
most
no.
weebs.
This is me sad right
See,
now.
I don't think you'd be
Yeah.
sad. I think you'd just be furious when the ending does come. That is, if it's a bad ending, then you just be furious at how you were robbed of a really good ending.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Haikyuu will have a. I actually am very surprised because I thought the future of Haikyuu would go a long way because there is so much to show. You can show Hinata and Kageyama becoming
Hmm.
third years, and you can show how newer people on the Karasuno team went on to carry on the legacy that these guys left behind. But you have crushed my dreams. So
But we do not know how much is left and how much more they're gonna show. Maybe they show what you're talking about and then it ends. You don't know that. We don't know that. The manga readers know.
all I'm saying is
I
it.
imagine, dude, the Haikyuu manga readers are more crushed
Yeah.
than you are right now.
No, trust me.
At least you have that piece of bliss where you
Uh,
don't know when it's going to end. So just live with it right now.
Haikyuu
Exactly.
chapter 402 is releasing on 24/7/2020.
Hmm.
January. February, March, April, May.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
we are in
next
7
month.
2020 right now. Yes, this
Oh
month.
shit, it's
Haikyuu
this
ends
month.
this
Oh
month.
my god. Ah,
Haikyuu ends this
this is,
month. And the anime will probably end in 4 years or more. I don't know. But yeah, you have time. Don't worry.
and with this, we end this podcast. We hope
No,
you enjoyed Weeb
no.
101 about Haikyuu.
My God,
I
it's like
think it,
I remember when we were like in college or school, like really young. Like I think there was this show called Leverage we used to watch, and like it ended, but for Brew it still hasn't ended because he hasn't seen the last
yeah,
episode, and he
I
won't
never watched
accept
the
it.
last episode, and yeah, it's still not ended. What do I say? It's still going on.
Exactly.
Same for White Collar.
Hmm.
I mean, these
See,
shows just never end.
yeah.
Dexter ended like in season 4, not season
Hmm.
5 or whatever it was. The last two seasons basically didn't exist.
Yeah.
So
So you're gonna,
Yep.
it's never gonna end for you. You can just not watch it. I'll watch it and be satisfied. Audi will also watch it.
He won't. Yeah.
You won't. That's okay. You don't
I
know
mean,
what happens to
if it
Karasu.
doesn't exist, I can't watch it.
You'll just
Yeah,
be happy
that's
discussing
true.
up till whatever season it is, and then the last ending you just won't. You just leave it at that.
Exactly. Or I will watch the ending and cry for a week straight because it ended.
My God. Okay, switch brighter note. Change topic. Let's talk about the latest season, season 4. What do you guys think? Tell me.
I think it was a much better time when I didn't know Haikyuu was ending.
Come on, dude. Cheer up.
it,
Talk about it. Season 4 got so exciting, dude.
yeah, season 4 was really good. I actually expected them to show. I remember telling you guys, I said they would. I hope they show at least the starting of one match.
Hmm.
Because it would suck if they were only training for the
Hmm.
entire half season and didn't play a match.
Yeah.
And then they surprised us by showing us like 3 matches.
Was it?
Yeah,
Was it
they
three
Because
showed
matches?
2 matches. I
No,
think
wait.
2 matches.
they showed two
Karasu.
Karasuno matches and
Fukurodani
one.
match.
There was a
Yeah.
Fukumadani
Yeah,
match, yeah.
yeah. So that was really exciting. I mean,
Hmm.
I really broke all my expectations, and even the training was so cool for everybody. I mean, we did see Hinata spoilers being a water boy,
Hmm.
but for Shirato
Oh,
Izawa basically, but
that was so
he would learn
interesting.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird how Suki got invited and Kageyama got invited for the
Hmm.
spoilers Japan training camp, but poor Hinata was left behind. So
And he still,
I mean,
yeah, and he
yeah,
still
Again,
season
tried
four.
to inch his way.
like
No,
Suki was the
Hinata
star of
can
the
jump
last season.
really
Huh?
high. Okay,
What?
Renata can jump really high.
Of
Okay,
course. He can jump really high. But now, as we know, not high enough.
no, he can jump really high. Hinata is the highest jumper.
Yeah. No, but I think like before, like until season 3, like their goal was always like Shirato Rizawa, right? That was as high
Hmm.
as they were looking, right? And now season 4, there are like so many new opportunities, all these like aces that they're fighting, all these crazy new characters, which makes
No,
it so
actually,
much more interesting.
I think they set it up in a very interesting way because
Hmm.
even before Shirato Rizawa, Kageyama and Hinata said that they would go to the world stage and not stop at the school stage.
That's
So,
true.
it's only natural that season 4 came out with an entrance into the world stage for Kageyama. I mean, Hinata too should be given an opportunity. I think they definitely will before the manga ends.
Yeah.
Ah. But yeah, I think it really went well with what was shown in the previous season. It doesn't make Hinata and Kageyama look like just two school kids with high hopes without
Hmm.
any plan to back up their actions. They do have a plan. They do have the skills, and they are showing up to the main stage. So it's going to be really cool to see what happens next.
Yeah, it was
But
amazing. I really like the when all the teams were coming in one by one and
Yeah.
everything, and
yeah,
when remember we were watching Hinata like be a water boy, and then we were like waiting for the Kageyama training episodes because we want
yeah,
to see
yeah,
new characters. Show
yeah.
us Kageyama.
I think like
That
throughout the
was
whole
After that,
exciting.
season, I think when the season started, I like Bruce said, I also expected training to just go on throughout the entire season, and I kind of expected the training to go on for the first half, but they ended that very early, and they gave us which was the first match. Uh, does anyone remember the first match from this thing? That
Why don't you remember the first
it's been a
match?
while since I watched it.
Yeah.
My God, this is a disgrace. See,
Hmm.
guys, this is why Audi needs a podcast like this, and maybe you
Yes.
guys need it too. But if you are on the fence about anime,
But
like,
yeah, like either way,
listen to us.
it was kind of nice that they ended it off with the win against Shiratorizawa and then brought them down to the first base again, but on a much larger stage, and kind of gave us. Uh,
No, but I think at this point, Karasuno is no longer the underdogs. After beating Shiratorizawa,
yeah,
they basically
Yeah.
became one
Hmm.
of the powerhouse schools. So I mean, we can see that they do destroy a lot of people, whether individually or together as a team. They do show their skills very intensely in the
Oh, I
fourth
think
season.
the first match was Tsukibahara team. Karasuno's
Kiba.
Yeah,
Tsukibahara. Yeah.
yeah,
No, and the thing is, I think Hinata is still like the underdog in the tournament because all these guys don't know like who he is. They're still surprised, they know Kageyama and because he's a prodigy. They know all the other players, but they
yeah.
don't
But
know
they show
Hinata yet.
Hinata gaining fame in the
Yeah.
fourth season. Also, any season that has Bokuto, I'm not going to complain, man. Like, hey, hey, hey.
Speaking about Bokuto, talk about your favorite characters.
Hey, I don't have favorite characters.
Come
That's
on.
not a question you can ask
You
me
just
for this
hey, hey, hey.
one anime.
You mean
I am a Haikyuu fanboy through and through. There
you
is
have
no way you can
characters that
get
you
me to
like
say
more than
anything
the
bad
others?
about it. Yeah, I like Bokuto.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but I
That's what.
wouldn't like Bokuto. I wouldn't say Bokuto is like my favorite character. I think he's a very anyone who's read or watched Bakuman will understand. Bokuto is a very interesting character because he has the looks, he has that distinct identity that makes you unable to forget
Yeah,
him, which is that too for a side character who's not that
Yeah.
important so far. They've done a very good job with making him very identifiable. I mean, that hey, hey, hey is like I don't know, it's just the funnest thing you can think of
Yeah.
when you imagine Haikyuu.
His character is very interesting also, like how he becomes the emo when something because of his own selfish needs, he's not getting enough attention, he's not on the big stage, he goes emo, the crowd is not cheering. That's pretty interesting personality trait, I think.
Yeah, Bokuto is like a really well done
Hmm.
character. I mean, the side characters in Haikyuu are really good, but Bokuto is one of the standout characters. Just really well developed, really cool.
Unpopular opinion among y'all, I like
yeah. I
Oikawa.
also like Oikawa a bit. Yeah,
He's an amazing, I think he's a very good side character. He's so cool, dude. His
He's,
spikes, the way they yell.
it's
Oh,
not about Oikawa. It's about the crowd yelling. There's
no,
that difference. It's
have you seen the
Oikawa.
Sakuga spike? Have you seen the Sakuga spike when he
Oikawa
goes into the
wouldn't look
bird?
as
Dude,
cool without
animation
that
lines
chanting.
can't keep up with his spike speed. Sorry,
No,
serve
that
speed, dude. The
the
ball appears
if
at the
the
other side flattened almost.
without the crowd screaming it, Oikawa would just look like a moron who's in the anime. Okay, he just is a silent guy who goes, but then it's
Dude,
that
yeah,
oh
he's
la,
amazing.
hey, but his
that's
skill
the
is
cool
shown in
part.
matches as well.
It is
Like
cool to
Sid
give him
said, the
support.
ball goes.
Yeah, you saw the match. He
Yeah,
tries to improve himself.
Hey,
Hmm.
there are a lot of talented people, and Oikawa is not even the most talented out of them.
Honestly, straight up.
He is just shown to be. I think Oikawa is overrated. Everyone talks so much about him, and yet you can see that if Oikawa was there instead of Kageyama in the All Japan training camp, he would have probably gotten his ass whooped. Okay, I mean, Kageyama is still better.
No, no. I think
It's just
Oikawa
that
is.
I think the only reason Kageyama even considers himself inferior to Oikawa is because he views him as a senpai from his old school, and he automatically has that inferiority complex because of age. There's no way that they played, and Kageyama still thinks that
but
he's so
then
much more
couldn't it be that
worse than Oikawa.
Oikawa
Hey,
has?
Oikawa has the best serves. Even Ushijima's serves aren't as good as Oikawa's, and you know that.
Are you mad? Ushijima serves are
Have you seen
crazy.
Oikawa's serves, dude? The ball appears and it's like a wow. Have you seen the way that
Yeah,
is?
but
Come
see,
on.
Oikawa serves. are okay. Sometimes they're really good, but
Oh
otherwise they're just good.
no,
While
they're
Ushijima has explosive power behind each shot, it's
not.
his serves and shot or spikes are always extremely good. Impossible to stop. Oikawa can be stopped. It took like 2 tries for them to stop Oikawa.
Because he's still growing. He's still getting better. It's what they show. Remember in
Ushijima
every
is also
serve,
still growing. He's in the All Japan
Didn't
team, the youth
didn't
team. Of
Ushijima
course, he's
himself
growing.
say that he
of
wanted
course.
Oikawa as a setter for Shiratorizawa?
Yeah, he
Yeah, but
said
that's
that.
what I'm saying. He's overrated. He got beat by Kageyama, who everybody, including Oikawa, said was worse.
Yeah, but not only because of Kageyama. It was actually
But Kageyama
Nishinoya.
was, yeah, Kageyama was one of the more important characters because he said that he had to beat him in setting
Yeah,
because otherwise then the team wouldn't have any hope. So Karasuno as a whole are better than most of the other teams, but I think Oikawa is overrated. Also, his voice annoys me.
His
wow,
voice
wow. What
annoys you.
amazing. Who's the setter in season 4 that Kageyama looks up to? The guy who teaches him how to surf correctly
The guy who teaches him to
in
serve
the
correctly.
training camp.
I don't remember his name.
The,
Miyatsumi.
yeah, I think
Is it
it's one
one
of
of
the
the
twins.
twins?
It's one of the
One
twins.
of the
Yeah, yeah.
glowing twins.
Oh yeah, the twins. Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, that guy is cool. He teaches Kageyama how to surf.
What's his name?
Miya Atsumi. I think it's the Atsumi twins or something. Yeah.
I don't remember their names for some reason.
Miya Atsumu. Yeah, Miya
Atsumu,
Atsumi.
yeah, yeah, Atsumu,
Atsumu
yeah,
Miya. And Osamu Miya. Yeah, they are the twins. Atsumu teaches him how to this thing, right? How to
yeah,
like
yeah,
improve
yeah,
his spike base setting. Sorry, I'm messing up all the volleyball terms. People are gonna get confused. Improve his setting. I've been saying
yeah.
so.
Oh my God, I'm looking at it. Oh shit,
What?
I just read a spoiler. I see.
Well,
Dude.
Ah, I see.
But yeah, he basically teaches teaches him how to technically create the perfect setting. Yeah, so that the spiker can hit it at its like he can hit it to its best ability with all the power he has, right? So he doesn't
hmm.
have to adjust to you. Which Hinata has been doing in the beginning. Hinata just used to close his eyes and wave his hand,
Well,
So it did get pretty interesting. These new characters are cool. Yeah,
But yeah, we have
uh,
let's see what
yet to
I
see more in the next installment of IQ.
happens.
which I hope will come this year.
Hmm.
Yeah, Audi. Even your favorite is Oikawa. Who's your
I
favorite
don't think
character?
I have a favorite character. Like my favorite character jumps from each episode.
Okay, season 4. Come on,
Season 4, I think.
who
I
stood
think
out? At least part 1.
Kageyama. I think. Hmm.
Kageyama, interesting.
I know.
Why?
I got to see a lot more about him and realized that he also had a lot of room to explore. So I liked his progress through mostly throughout season 4.
Damn. Yeah,
Hmm.
that makes sense, I guess. Kageyama did improve. Actually, yeah, you're right. Like skill
Yeah.
wise, he did improve a
And
lot in
like
like
the
season
one
4
character that I'm
compared to what.
looking forward to seeing in the next installment is
Mm,
Kageyama and seeing what he can pull out of his genius brain and devise this a brand new strategy
yeah,
tailored only for Hinata's movements. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
yeah. I think.
Sid, while I was checking the name of Atsumo, I have happened upon.
Do
Don't
not
say
tell
anything.
me any spoilers. No, not here. No. There are so many innocents who are listening to this who have caught up to the anime and you're
No,
spoiling
no,
it for all of
no.
them.
I'm not going to tell you what happens, but since we were discussing about the manga and whether we will like what's going to happen or no, Sid, you specifically are going to hate it.
Why?
If I tell you, that will be a spoiler, won't it?
My god, what did you do?
Uh,
Don't tell me. Don't
okay,
tell me.
I'll just tell you what not to do. Okay, because if you make the same mistake that I do, you will definitely see the spoiler. Okay, so
I'm not going.
I will tell you what not to do.
Hmm.
There's a haikyuu.fandom.com, the wiki.
No.
Okay,
What?
the haikyuu.fandom.com
Yeah,
wiki.
yeah.
Do not go there and look at any character. Don't go to any character.
I'm not going to.
Yeah,
Don't
but
worry. Audi here with a fucking stick in his hand, ready to bash bro and keep that down. Yeah, dude, don't. But what do you, yeah, we are expecting good things out of the second part.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, of course, second part. But now
I,
I have lost all hope in the ending being good.
a new burnout syndrome song,
hopefully.
hopefully. Fingers
Hopefully,
crossed.
not
And
not a disappointing
I think
ending.
that's
Hopefully,
one thing we really need in
I'm,
this.
I'm always hoping for
It's
good
one thing we
endings.
really
Yeah.
need in this during this pandemic.
Exactly.
for
What?
those
Okay.
who are going to hear this in the future, the year is
Hmm.
Yes.
2020. The coronavirus has ravaged the world. COVID-19, yes, 19, not 20 or 21,
Yep.
Don't worry,
destroying
20 and
us.
21 is coming.
We hope we are dead, but you shall survive.
You
Go
shall
forth,
survive.
child. Watch Haikyuu.
Watch
Smile
IQ.
before COVID gets you.
On on that note, on an ending note, let's recommend shows that we think that they people who've already watched Haikyuu can check out, or new manga or shows that they can read and watch in this in a similar field.
And for each
Uh,
manga or anime we recommend, Audi is going to watch it or read it, and he's going to give his
exactly,
thoughts on a
Yeah.
future episode. So you guys
exactly.
can tune in, and if you don't agree with him, send him a message and
No,
tell
no,
him
no,
he
no,
sucks.
no.
Thank
Just
you.
do that. Wait, where are we going to upload this again?
That's not for you to ask.
On all platforms
You can't.
everywhere. Continue. Yeah.
I would say Kuroko Basuke is like a
Kuroko
must watch.
Basket definitely. It's
Slam
like
Dunk.
it's basketball. It's a sports anime. But Slam Dunk is amazing. Yeah, it's like it's still real life. There's no supernatural element like Kuroko has. And Slam Dunk's mangaka is amazing. Takehiko Inoue, I love him. His
Uh,
style is crazy. Vagabond, he's also made Vagabond, which I fucking love.
oh, eh.
Dude, don't hate on Vagabond. It's
It's not
amazing.
hating on it. It's like okay. I
Amazing.
like Kingdom a lot more than Vagabond.
Well, Kingdom also has but Kingdom is more like the Gekiga style, that more realistic manga style. I think Vagabond has a style of its own, even though it is a little Gekiga. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
It's
still
just
think
beautiful,
Kingdom
dude.
is
It's
much
just
better than
love.
Vagabond.
Every
Vagabond,
every
okay,
panel blows your
that's
mind.
another discussion for another episode. We don't want to burn
Okay.
all our content out here. There is also
True.
Free, which don't ask me why. There's a lot of
Oh,
yaoi
dude,
hentai
we are
out
not watching
about.
free. I think that's a yaoi like swimming manga
It's a
or
swimming,
anime, which
it's a swimming
yeah,
anime, but
Hmm.
it's not explicitly yaoi in the anime itself, but it is
Mm,
considered one of the most
yeah.
yaoi friendly anime there. So
Even Yuri
if
on
you're into
Ice,
that, you
right?
can watch that.
Yeah.
Even
Even Yuri
Haikyuu
on
one,
Ice,
yeah, even
which we
Yuri on
haven't seen yet. Yeah, which we'll get a lot of hate for, but we shall watch it in the future.
yeah. So
Talking about sports manga, dude. Boxing, come on. Hajime no Ippo, definitely.
yeah, Hajime
Have
no
to check
Ippo,
that out.
100%. Asta no Joe, must read manga there.
Astano Joe, definitely, yeah.
I,
Hajime, I think these two are like our favorite like sports mangas. If you
I think
see Joe and Ippo, yeah,
Ippo is hands down my best out of
yeah,
all sports manga.
Ippo is
Even
amazing. It's like
even
a
Haikyuu,
thousand.
because like Haikyuu
Hmm.
is a very wholesome story, but so is Ippo. Ippo has humor, it has serious moments, it has emotional moments, it has everything. It's sort of like One Piece, where a lot of different things come in, mix together, and
Hmm.
make something amazing, which just can't be explained in words. Just really amazing.
Yeah, it's an adventure. It was
Yeah.
an experience, and we shall do
And
the
there are
and
1,000 chapters, so we shall do that 5 years from now. For that, I think that would be
years
enough
from
for
now.
Audi to read it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then Audi catches up, so that shall happen. But
And
yeah, check those out.
on
Let
that
us
note,
know what you
welcome
think.
to Weeb101. I'm
Welcome to
Bro,
Weeb101. I'm
I'm Audi.
Sid.
I'm the resident noob.
and we are here to educate you on what manga or anime to go to next or start
Yeah,
with the
and
next
look
time. And
forward
we are
to
doing Sid, what's our next topic?
Our next topic next week is going to be One Piece.
Oh my
It's going to
God,
be a
who's
big one.
I
excited?
am.
It's
It's
going to
the
be a
only
long
thing I know
one.
after
This
all.
And
this
it's going
is
to
another manga that Audi has
Yeah.
read, so it's gonna be
yes.
long. We're probably going to screw up a lot of things. You're probably going to hate it, and we can't wait for you to leave some comment telling us we suck. So, see you next time. Goodbye.
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 Sayonara.